Alright, this video's gonna have to be under 30 minutes. Good, because the last one I tried to film about this was like 40 minutes, so let me just get right to the point of it. So, do a video about, like, ghosts and demon possession for Halloween. Do I believe in ghosts? Yeah. Have I ever seen one? No. I have felt some presence around me at times, but I've never seen a ghost. Do I believe in demon possession? Yeah. What do I think it is? How do I explain it? So, I've never seen it firsthand, but I do believe it's real, and here's how. So, you ever heard of people like channeling entities or spirits? Demon possession is they're channeling a negatively polarized entity, a very negatively polarized entity. So, this is going to be a weird video. So, if you're into this stuff, go on my Patreon. But basically what it comes down to is there are positively polarized entities and there are negatively polarized entities. Now, here on Earth, we got both. Although the truth is, most people on Earth are somewhere in between. They're not fully negatively polarized and they're not fully positively polarized. Now, how do you be a positively polarized being? That is, it's if you are 51% service to others as opposed to, 51% service to self. And that's just, you only got to beat the 50% by 1% to be positively polarized. Not a real hard thing to pull off, but you got to realize we're raised in a place, in a society that teaches you to be kind of selfish. So, a lot of people on Earth, I believe, are kind of more negatively polarized than it is in their nature to be. Because Earth is a very easy place to slip into the negative polarization, and for a positively polarized being, that's not a good thing. You've got to work your way back up to positive polarization if that is your goal. So, what happens with a lot of people on Earth is they end up reincarnating here over and over to try to get their polarization straightened out. The whole point of being here is like spiritual evolution. Now, there's the negatively polarized beings who, they evolve by doing negative things, and to be a negatively polarized being, it's not an easy thing to do. They've got to be, I think it's 85% service to self. That's not an easy thing to do. But it's, I don't understand that much about the negative polarization because I'm positively polarized, very much so. I couldn't tell you the exact percentage, but it's not hard for me to do things for people and not expect anything in return. God rewards me, bro, you know what I mean? And I don't even do it for rewards. God's just been good to me. So I try to be good to others, you know what I mean? It's a hard thing to really figure out. There was a time in my life when I was younger when I was thinking to myself, maybe I should be more selfish and this and that because it seems like the easy way to go. And I was trying to, I couldn't think of a real logical reason not to, except that it just didn't feel right. It went against my nature. So I was like, you know what? This is what I thought logically. I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to turn into this selfish, careless person because, even if it doesn't pay off, for me, at the very least, I won't make the world a worse place. I'll make the world a better place. You know what I mean? So, at the very least, I won't be contributing to the negativity of the overall vibration of Earth. And that was how I came to that conclusion. This is long ago when I was younger. And now, in the future, hindsight, I've been rewarded in a million different ways for being that way. And I wasn't doing it for a reward, you know what I mean? I was just doing it to kind of maintain my own self-respect and peace of mind. That's not to say I've never done selfish things or evil things. I have, and it made me feel. It didn't feel right. So, man, there's something in my dashboard like scratching. Can y'all hear that? I don't know if there's a creature in there or what, but I'm not taking apart my whole dash. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but every once in a while there's like this sound. But so now, how does demon possession work? So you've heard of people like channeling spirits and stuff. A lot of people will tell you that's not real or that's not true, but I believe it's true. I believe it's real. I've gotten lots of information from people who channel spirits and stuff, so I believe it. Here's the thing. We're raised in a society where they're trying to trick you in a lot of ways. Their job is to polarize Earth negative. That's their job. They're not doing it because they're evil. They're doing it because that is the part that they were hired to play. It's really that simple. The people who really control the world, their job is to get a negatively polarized harvest. Now, it's all very weird, complicated stuff. If you want details, go on my Patreon. I'll give you a quick rundown of it. And this is going to sound crazy to some people, but I don't really care. So, you know how the Mayan calendar ended in 2012? That was the harvest. December 21st, 2012, the Earth split. We have evolved past third density. This is, incarnating on Earth at this time. Lots of entities wanted to do it. We're the lucky ones who got to do it. You may not feel lucky about it because it's such a crazy place and a crazy time, but that's why you wanted to come here. It's a very unique situation. So, December 21st, 2012, the harvest. The Mayan calendar ends on that day. The world ended on that day, literally. It split into fourth density negative, and then there was they were kind of maintaining a lukewarm dimension, and then there's fourth density positive. I believe most of you probably made it to fourth density positive. That's a guess. I don't know for sure. Here's the thing. The split happened in 2012, so these dimensions are splitting off as we speak. I'm sure it sounds nuts. Look into quantum physics and you'll get a better understanding. But so, we are still, our three dimensions are kind of existing parallel right now. So there's a lot of going in between. So there's still plenty of negativity and stuff like that, even though you made it to I believe you made it to fourth density positive. But that's not what this video is about. I'm just giving you a little bit of background. So, now, how does demon possession happen? Well, I believe it happens to people who are open to channeling entities. They might be trying to channel a positive entity, but here's the thing. If you're going to open yourself to channeling entities, you're opening yourself to channeling negatively polarized entities. So my advice is, if you don't know what you're doing, figure out what you're doing before you start trying to channel entities and giving them permission to communicate through you. I'm not open to it. I don't want to do it. So it's not something I really worry about. But people on my Patreon sometimes ask me, like, what if I want to channel beings? And I tell them, look, do what you want to do, but figure out what you're doing first. You don't want to open yourself up to, you don't want to open the door to everyone, to all the entities out there, because there are some negatively polarized ones who do not have your best interests at heart. So I've never channeled any entities. I've never tried. I am psychic to some degree, in a sense where a lot of times I can just sense what people are feeling and stuff like that. I don't do it on purpose. It just kind of happens. It's not something I really try to cultivate. I feel like it's really not my business to be trying to figure out what is going on in other people's heads. You know what I mean? So I'm a very sensitive person, and as far as I can sense how people feel, and a lot of times I can sense exactly what they kind of need, but 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't understand it if I explained it to them. Like, for instance, the mechanic here, the guy flips out all the time. He gets very angry, not with me really, because I don't work for him, but he flips out on his employees a lot, and I can sit him down and talk to him and explain to him exactly why this happens and how to avoid it. And I've tried to do it in subtle ways, but he's not ready for that understanding. He's got to learn on his own, just like we all do. And it's actually it's violating his free will to just tell him this stuff. You know what I mean? That's one thing I've learned over the years. You can't make people understand things that they're not ready to understand, and you're not even doing them a favor. It's like they're not going to learn anything if you just hand them all the answers. You know what I'm saying? So this is why throughout my life I've tried to help a lot of people I'm related to, people I'm friends with, and I'm like, why can't I get this through his head? Like, why can't he get it? It's so obvious to me that I don't understand why he can't understand it. And I've realized over the years, and the information has come to me over the years, that it's not my job to do that. It's not my job to teach them. It's their job to learn. And it's not my job. Like, what it comes down to is I'm trying to ease their suffering. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. They need that. It's the only way they're going to learn. So I've got to kind of just let things happen naturally. It's just like an animal documentary filmmaker. I'm sure he's tempted sometimes to help the little baby gazelle when the lions are about to kill it, but he can't interfere. That's nature. It's not his place. You know what I mean? It's not right or wrong. It's just nature. It's doing what it does. The lions have to eat too. They're going for the easiest prey. You know what I mean? So you can't blame the lions. And I understand the compassion for the gazelle. When I was younger and I would watch animal documentaries, which I'm glad my father used to show me a lot of animal documentaries when I was younger. And I would almost want to cry when the little baby gazelles would get killed by the lions. But as I got older, I understood, like, them lions have to eat, first of all. And them lions have babies that need to be fed, too. And if there were no lions on the African savanna, on the Serengeti plains, the gazelles would overrun the whole ecosystem. And they would throw everything out of balance, and we wouldn't have the Serengeti plains, which is this beautiful wilderness full of amazing animals. And it's like, it's a perfect balance that keeps itself in check. And so you can't interfere with it. You know what I mean? And you can't really judge it. It's nature. It's not good. It's not bad. It's a balance. And this video is getting deeper than I wanted to go. But so, And here's the other thing. So there's my explanation for demon possession. People are accidentally, or maybe sometimes intentionally, they're channeling negatively polarized entities who are very negatively polarized. You could call them evil. I really don't even like to, use the words good and evil. It's all a matter of perspective. You know what I mean? So, am I afraid of demons and stuff? No, not particularly. And here's why. First of all, everything, you've got free will. So even if there was a ghost or a demon or something trying to interact with you, if you did not want that, all you have to do is make your intention clear. I don't want this to happen. I don't want you anywhere near me. And it kind of has to follow that, because otherwise it's going to depolarize and kind of weaken itself. There's a price to pay for violating free will. You know what I mean? Go on my Patreon for details. Now, I am not a pro at all this. I'm pretty new to it all. But what I do on Patreon is I share the things that I've learned at this point. And I'm always open for debate. If you can, you know, I'm willing to articulate my points and make my points, and we can do it in a civil way. I'm not claiming to be like the sole controller of all truth, and everything I say is impalpable and no one can argue with any of it. I'm the opposite of that. I'm always open for debate. I'm looking for the truth. I'm not trying to push anyone else's truth. I'm looking for the objective truth. So now, so I don't really fear any negatively polarized entities messing with me. First of all, I feel I am a powerful entity myself. When I am out, you know, in between lives or whatever, my spirit is a powerful one. So when I was younger, I would think to myself, I used to be afraid of ghosts and demons and shit. You know, you watch a scary movie, you freak yourself out, like, oh shit, what if there's a demon in the closet over there? And I'd be like scared out of my wits. And then I would think to myself, like, why am I so scared? What's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen is this thing, maybe it could kill me. But if it does that, it's basically releasing my spirit, which is as powerful or potentially more powerful than that thing. So worst come to worst and it kills me, it's basically evening the battleground to where I get a fair fight at that point. You know what I mean? It's weird for a kid to be thinking like this, but this is how I used to think. And so I kind of stopped being afraid. I was thinking to myself, worst case scenario, it kills my physical body and releases my spirit, which then it's got to deal with my spirit, which is a much more powerful thing than my physical body. So, you know, the other thing is, here's the thing about, like, you ever seen, there's a pretty good scary movie called The Witch. I think it came out in 2015. I did a video about it on my other channel. I need to get back on my other channel. I get it. People are annoyed with me for not putting anything up on there. I'm going to get back to it. Trust me. I've got to do that. But I did a video on that channel titled What I Learned from the movie The Witch, I think. And I find that movie very interesting because I feel like the people who made that movie probably have some occult knowledge. Now, here's what it comes down to. In that movie, what's so interesting about it is the guy pretends to be this super righteous, you know, like representative of religion and God, and he does no wrong, but behind the scenes he's doing a lot of the things, kind of nasty things, stealing his wife's like silver cup to sell, or you know, he's going behind his daughter's back to potentially sell her as an indentured servant, like doing a lot of like betrayal and evil to his own family. But on the surface he acts like this super righteous beyond reproach. So but his actions tell a different story. So here's the thing. The only evil you're going to experience, this is as far as I can tell from my observations and the information that has crossed my path over the years, the only evil you're going to experience is the evil that you put out there. So this is why they say, you know, God says vengeance is mine. God, you know, evil happens to us all, but the trick is to not perpetuate it and pass it on to others, or even send it back there. It's now I'm referring to positively polarized beings. Negatively polarized beings, they're perpetuating evil. That's their thing. That's how they polarize. That's how they evolve. That's how they get more powerful. I am positively polarized, so I don't know exactly how that stuff works. I should probably look into it more. But so you know, there are people who are negatively polarized who can do nasty, negative things and seemingly not pay a price for it, but they do pay a price for it, because everything comes back on us. But for them, it's kind of their purpose. It's a sacrifice they're making to polarize negative. The end goal for negatively polarized beings is to become God, to become God of their own creation. They don't want to be under the creator who created this creation. They're trying to break out of this whole thing and become all powerful in their own creation, or maybe take over this one. I'm not even sure. But for positively polarized beings, our goal in the end is to kind of merge back with the creator who created us. So I didn't mean to get this deep in this video, but so if you want details about that stuff, go on my Patreon. So now, so here's the thing. Why am I not too worried about whatever evil comes my way? Because I haven't put a whole lot of evil out there, you know? But here's the thing. I have put some evil out there. I have acted selfish in the past. I have done evil, manipulative things to people in the past. I've done some nasty things to some people in the past. Now, here's the thing. There were times when I was homeless and things were real bad, man. And I was thinking, I was on the verge of like, this is too much for me to handle. You know, I'm barely eating. I'm sleeping out in the cold. I'm sleeping on the trains. I'm filthy. I haven't had a shower in months. It was rough. And I was suffering. And I was thinking to myself, like, I just wanted it to end. But the thought occurred to me, like, you know what? You're paying off like karmic debt right now. You know, these things that you've done in the past that you feel guilty about, you're paying that off right now. You can kind of let go of that guilt, let go of that, you know, those negative feelings attached to the negative things you've done, because you're paying that debt. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. Even though I have done shameful and evil things in the past, I don't feel guilty about them. I've paid my karmic debts. And so here's the thing. Whatever evil you've done, you know, you're not just screwed now and you're going to get possessed by demons and ghosts. No, that's not the case. Here's the thing. Whatever comes your way, you got to just accept it and be like, okay, I'm paying my debts right now. And I'm glad for that. Thanks for the lessons. Now I understand that if I do these things, this is the result. So you learn your lessons, and once you know better, you do better. And you got to do the best you can. And you got to realize that God forgives everything, whatever you've done. God forgives you if you want forgiveness. It's just that you may still have to experience some negativity because you put it out there. It's physics. What goes around comes around. Energy is not created or destroyed. It's moving around. So whatever you put out there is going to come back to you. So just let it come back to you. Pay your debt and be grateful that you don't have it on you don't got this stain on your conscience no more because you paid your debt. You know what I mean? So redemption is always there if you want it. You know what I mean? But you got to learn. You got to learn your lessons. You can't just keep perpetuating evil and negativity and expecting it not to come back on you, because everything's always going to come back on us. So you just got to do the best you can with what you know. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying everyone's got to be a saint. You know, I'm not a saint either. I'm still potentially nasty as fuck at times, and it happens. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not a saint. You know, I make mistakes too. But I have a real understanding at this point how things come back on me. So I try to keep that in mind when I'm ready to explode and be angry. But here's the thing. You know, here's what it is. So with me now, one of the reasons I used to be so nasty at times, which I didn't realize until kind of recently, but I had this kind of subconscious rage in the background, and it had a lot to do with poverty. It's like, I want to make a whole video on this subject. Just why are there so many crazy, angry people out there? And here's the thing. They don't even realize this rage boiling in the background. And here's an example. So my car's not running that good. It's kind of overheating at times. It's looking like my car might be dying within the next year. I hope that doesn't happen. But now, in the past, a situation like this would have had me boiling with rage, and I would have just suppressed it and tried to forge ahead. Because in the past, even with I was working full time, this and that, I couldn't afford to buy another car. I couldn't afford to be fixing my thousands of dollars. Like, I got all these bills and all this shit. I was like breaking even every month, even though I was just working full time. I was broke. Nowadays, that's not the case. I live in a car now. I make more money, and now I've got a little bit of money in the bank. Not a lot, but a little. Enough to where my car not running right doesn't even freak me out that much. Like, do I want to flush money down the toilet buying a car? No, I want to save up and get a nice newer car where I don't got to worry about whatever bullshit happened to it before I bought it. Like with this car, I love my CRV, don't get me wrong, but I got sold a vehicle with a lot of problems, which have cost me a lot of money. But so, now that I've got a little bit of a cushion, a little bit of a safety net to where if this thing dies, I can buy a cheap Honda, which is going to run a lot better than this thing does. And it's not that big of a deal. I'll be out a couple $1,000, but it ain't going to kill me, So I'm just a lot less angry now because I don't have this constant pressure on me, which a lot of people out there are living with this rage in the background due to all these pressures, which are all artificial. The people controlling this world have screwed us over in a million different ways. This video, I've got to cut this video short, but basically what it comes down to is try not to worry about things, because in the end everything is going to work out for you. The real trick, don't let this world drive you nuts. Don't let it turn you into something you're not. Doing evil, perpetuating evil, nastiness, angry. You got to learn to control your emotions. And here's the thing, you got to realize that everything you're afraid of and stressed about and anxiety and this and that, it's none of it is that big of a deal. There's nothing on this earth that should have you in psychotic states of mind. Nothing is that big a deal. And this is coming from someone who has lost everything multiple times and been through all kinds of shit. So I can tell you right now that none of it is worth losing your mind over. None of it is worth turning violent over. You know what I mean? So the real trick is don't let none of this shit drive you nuts. Whatever is going to happen, don't even try to resist it. Accept whatever comes, because when you try to resist things, it's like a negatively polarized magnet. It draws it to you. Don't try to resist anything. Accept whatever comes. Be grateful for the lessons. That's all it is. This whole life is one lesson after another, and as long as you stay true to yourself and you don't let this world turn you into some nasty, psychotic creature, then the only evil you're going to experience is the evil you put out there. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the end of this video. I'm running out of time. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the tips. Happy Halloween, everyone. Be careful out there. If you get hammered, take an Uber home. You're better off spending $20 on an Uber than thousands on a DUI or potentially jail time if you get in a wreck or whatever. Just get an Uber, bro. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the end of this one. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Everybody have a good one.